On the wedding day, I was forced to become the bride's brother-in-law instead of the groom-to-be. 10 years of devotion ended up as a ridiculous joke. I thought for a long time and realized that she had never loved me. The title of the heir of the William family was what she really desired. On the wedding day, she nestled in William's arms and looked at me, saying, "James, thank you for your company over the years. But I'm sorry, I've always regarded you as a younger brother. The person I want to marry is someone else." The people of the William family surrounded me, afraid that I would make a scene. 3 months later, photos of a grand century-old wedding scene were leaked. I was embracing my newly-wed wife, Olivia, who was charming and beautiful, and got married with the blessings of many big shots. I heard that on that day, Ava and William had a big fight. Ava was accidentally pushed down and lost the baby in her belly. A grand wedding that had been meticulously prepared for half a year. The bride, Ava, was beautiful and graceful, standing elegantly on the stage. As the groom-to-be, I seemed to be under surveillance. My uncle firmly held me down in the audience. It was not until William came onto the stage with the ring and the host announced the wedding process as usual that I realized why the people around me had been looking at me with pity in their eyes for nearly half a year. It turned out that everyone had known from the beginning of the wedding preparations that the groom was never me. "Now, please invite the newlyweds to give a speech." As soon as the host finished speaking, the scrutinizing gazes around became even more obvious. "I want to thank my parents, relatives, and friends. They have put a lot of effort into my wedding, striving for perfection in every detail, which has made this grand ceremony possible. I especially want to thank my younger brother. He personally planned the whole wedding. I like it very much. Thank you, James. William looked at his brother in the audience hypocritically, with a faint sneer on his lips. "James, I also want to thank you for your company over the years and your meticulous care. But there is something I have to make clear. Ava looked at me and said, over the years, I've always regarded you as a younger brother. The person I want to marry is someone else. Please stop pestering me. Then the two of them looked at each other affectionately on the stage, with sweet smiles. The guests at the wedding were also immersed in the happy atmosphere. Only I was expressionless, out of place with the scene. My parents looked at me with disgust. After the wedding process was over, they stood in front of everyone to make an announcement. The William family has been passed down for 3 generations, and it has always been the capable who take over. When it comes to me, I have only 2 sons. William's father looked at William with satisfaction and then at me with disgust. Fortunately, my eldest son, William, is a highly capable and qualified heir. Today is the day of his marriage to the daughter of the Ava family. Since he has started a family, it's time for him to start his career. From tomorrow on, William will become the new president of the William Group. The whole audience burst into thunderous applause, celebrating the new heir of the William Group. Only I remained expressionless, just like when I was a child, countless similar scenes flashing through my mind. In addition, there is one more thing to announce at this opportunity. William's father looked at me with a flash of dislike in his eyes. James will no longer be a member of the William family from now on and will be removed from the William family genealogy soon. The guests were in an uproar. No one could understand why the youngest son was being expelled from the family on the day of the eldest son's wedding. What was the reason? My pupils suddenly shrank. Why? My fiancée, with whom I had a 10-year relationship, married my brother, and I didn't make a fuss. My brother inherited the company, and I didn't make a fuss. I was used to enduring patiently and making concessions since I was a child, but now I'm not even allowed to go home. I was extremely angry inside, but my face remained cold. I looked around at the people present. The guests were puzzled, the William family members looked indifferent, and William and his newly-wed wife ignored this matter. As expected, good people are bullied. I sneered and took off my tie, cufflinks, watch, and the ring on my hand one by one. Do as you like. Expel me as soon as possible. Knowing that William's father could hear me, I turned around and left the banquet hall. Someone behind me whispered, "Aren't you going to take your things?" "No. I think they're dirty." She gave them to me. I endured the anger and frustration in my heart, not letting anyone see a trace of sadness. With William's father's last words, after leaving this door, those people inside had nothing to do with me. Facing the sun, I pushed my carefully groomed soft broken hair back, with a lit cigarette between my fingers. Leaning against the wall, the top 3 buttons of my shirt were unbuttoned. With the smoke curling up, I looked casual, unrestrained, and free. James, are you going to show your true nature now? I was originally immersed in my own thoughts when a sweet voice came from beside me. I squinted my eyes and took a long time to recognize her. Oh, it's you. Olivia, my senior. Her family background is mysterious. One day in the first year of high school, she suddenly transferred to our school. She was extremely good at studying and always had the air of a big sister. She liked to tease me when we were at school, but at that time, I only had Ava in my heart and didn't care about anything else. What, got dumped by your sweetheart at the wedding? Have you seen the light? No more pretense? Olivia took a step forward, getting closer to me, her eyes fixed on mine. I'm not a good person in the first place. If you provoke me like before, you'll be counterattacked. I raised the corners of my mouth, and the naughty factor in me suddenly flared up. I pushed the charming Olivia against the wall and blew a puff of smoke in her face. I thought she would push me away and leave after scolding me. Unexpectedly, she put her hands on my shoulders, then wrapped her arms around my neck and pressed down suddenly. Okay, I just want to see how the gentle school hunk's younger brother counterattacks. Olivia laughed freely, but her eyes looked at me sincerely. Stared at by such a direct and passionate gaze, I suddenly forgot all the unfairness I had just experienced, and my irritable mood disappeared instantly. I was a little shy being stared at by her. I took her hands off my neck, took a big step back to create some distance, and avoided her burning gaze. After a moment of silence, Olivia suddenly laughed merrily. It's just a woman. If she doesn't want you, I do. If the William family kicks you out, my Olivia family will take you in. The Olivia family? Is it the one I'm thinking of? I just thought she was teasing me again, like when we were at school. I'm not as concerned about what happened just now as you think. William is not a good match. When she realizes it, she'll regret it. I pretended to explain it easily, smiled, and then turned to leave, feeling a bit disheartened. Olivia, always keep my word. You can't escape. She looked at my back, waved her hand, and several burly men in black suits and sunglasses suddenly appeared from nowhere. They were full of a sense of oppression. They quickly restrained me and stuffed me into her car. Half an hour later, the car stopped and I was dragged into a villa. When these bodyguards in black left, they thoughtfully locked the door. Through the window, I could see vague figures in the yard. Don't think about it. You can't get out if you don't agree to me. There are people patrolling 24 hours a day outside. They won't open the door lock without my permission. Olivia was leisurely making tea. I was a bit frustrated. I really didn't notice and got kidnapped by her. Miss, what on earth are you playing at? What exactly did I do to offend you? Do you really have to play this game of imprisonment with me? I tried to figure out what she really thought. I've said it. If she doesn't want you, I do. Anyway, we're all women. And I'm prettier and richer than her. Looking at her serious expression, I knew this woman wasn't joking. Fine, since you don't mind, I, a grown man, care even less. I said casually, planning to pretend to agree to her request and figure out a way to leave the villa later. Great, since you've agreed, as boyfriend and girlfriend, let's do something fun to show your sincerity. Olivia walked to the sofa, flirtatiously lifted my chin, straddled my lap, and looked down at me with alluring eyes. I cursed inwardly, seductress, but kept my face expressionless. Come on, let's go take a bath first. Being completely dominated by a woman, I felt a sense of pent-up frustration. Since the young lady herself didn't mind, I had no reason to be coy. After thinking it through, I started to take the initiative. We took a bath together. After a night of passion, when I woke up again, it was already late in the morning. When I got up, the other side of the bed was already cold. I lifted the thin quilt on my body and saw the bright red on the bedsheet, which surprised me. Recalling last night's madness, Olivia's slightly clumsy kissing skills, and that moment of stiffness. The overlooked details came back to me, and I suddenly realized that I had been deceived by the openness and dominance she showed yesterday. It turned out that Olivia was still a conservative who had preserved her virginity. Judging from her performance yesterday, one might think she was quite experienced, but it was all an act. I got myself dressed and went downstairs. She was still sitting at the tea table making tea. She really was fond of tea. Yuri awake. You had a tough night last night. Looking at her calm expression, I felt a bit annoyed. It was you who had a tough time. After all, it was a woman's first time. It always takes some getting used to. You were so passionate last night. Why are you so cold now that you're out of bed? I sat down opposite her and said slowly. After that, I observed her expression. It seemed unchanged, but if her earlobes hadn't turned bright red, I might have believed she really didn't care. After a moment of silence, the domineering woman across from me regained her usual demeanor and said calmly, "Come on, I'll take you to meet some people. I thought I was just going to meet her friends. But when I was led by her, arm in arm, to the Olivia family's dinner, my mood was a complex mix of nervousness. The Olivia family's old mansion was a large estate. When Olivia pulled me out of the car, a gentle lady was standing outside the door. Perhaps in a hurry, she took 2 quick steps and then stopped awkwardly. Ouch! If I hadn't been so close, I wouldn't have heard her. I looked at her posture and felt a bit guilty. I should have known better than to go too far last night. I reached out to gently support her. Looking at the woman who softened instantly beside me, I felt a bit curious. What's wrong with Olivia? Perhaps because we stopped suddenly, the lady who had been waiting at the door came over. Mom, I'm fine. Olivia quickly explained. That, Mom, shocked me. I was still in a daze when I received her meaningful look. Not knowing how to explain, I could only smile awkwardly. At the dinner table, the atmosphere was a bit tense. When everyone was almost done eating, Olivia put down her chopsticks and said something astonishing. Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Uncle, Auntie, this is the man I'm going to marry. Among the 7 people present, I was the most shocked by this statement. Olivia was a real wealthy heiress. In a family like this, could marriage be mentioned so casually? Olivia's grandfather was a frequent figure in the domestic financial sector. As a senior in the business world and an outstanding entrepreneur, although he now looked like an ordinary old man doting on his granddaughter, no one could ignore his eventful life. Olivia's father was a professor in the finance department of University A. If I hadn't given up the recommendation for further study, I might have become his student. Olivia's mother was a famous painter, gentle and intellectual. Olivia's uncle and aunt were in business. The Olivia family's group was managed by the couple, and it was likely to be handed over to Olivia in the future. She was the only girl in the family and had been doted on since childhood. Her uncle's 2 sons were twins and still in school, so they weren't at the gathering today. Olivia, you're still young. Let's put off this marriage thing for now. After the uncle said this, he gave me a sharp glare. I'm serious. Besides, didn't you guys keep urging me to get married and have kids to inherit the company? Olivia said calmly. I understood. She was being pressured by her family to get married and happened to run into me, so she made me her stand-in. Upon reaching this conclusion, my heart suddenly ached a bit. Grandpa Olivia, Uncle, Auntie, Uncle and Auntie of Olivia, hello. I'm James. I'm sorry for coming here so suddenly today without having prepared any visiting gifts in advance. It's not your fault. I brought you back suddenly, Olivia explained for me. Olivia is rather impulsive. James, you don't need to take her words to heart. Olivia's father took over, speaking gently but with a clear attitude like the uncle. They didn't approve of Olivia's idea of marrying me. I don't care. I won't marry anyone else but this man. Olivia said seriously. Young man, do you know about Olivia's decision? Marriage is a big deal. What do your family members think? Do you know what the Olivia family represents? Olivia's grandfather sat up a little straighter and stared straight at me, asking. I didn't know before, but I do now. I can make my own decisions about my affairs. I thought for a while and replied. In the end, the marriage of 2 people often boils down to the concept of being well matched in social and economic status. The son-in-law of the Olivia family can't be just anyone. Don't think that just because Olivia likes you, you can act recklessly. The uncle's words were sharp and intense, and no one else objected. I couldn't help but want to refute, but as a single person with no backing, I really wasn't on an equal footing with the Olivia family. Feeling rather stifled, I ultimately said nothing. Grandpa, Dad, Mom, Uncle, Auntie, I've made up my mind about this. I can't do anything if you don't agree. With Olivia's repeated statement, the table fell silent. My expression must not have been very good at this time, but Olivia's repeated declarations of marrying no one but me in front of her family gave me some hope. Did she really like me, or was it just because she was pressured to marry and happened to meet me when I was abandoned? After a long time, it was Olivia's mother who broke the silence. What does James do now? What specific industries does he have? James Group is my company, mainly engaged in venture capital business. What? James Group is your company? The new investment darling in the lone wolf in venture capital that the industry is raving about is you? As soon as I finished speaking, Olivia's aunt exclaimed. Yes, James Group is a wholly owned company founded by me and is currently my main business. The members of the Olivia family looked at each other, seemingly exchanging information. Then James is quite remarkable. At such a young age, he has made such a big name in the venture capital circle. The William family seems short-sighted for expelling you. There was admiration in Olivia's grandfather's words. At this point, the members of the Olivia family all showed satisfied expressions. Olivia, don't be so impatient. I've told you many times to be calm when dealing with things. Olivia's mother gently reminded her daughter. James, I'm sorry. We secretly investigated you yesterday. Auntie wants to apologize to you, but please also understand our feelings of wanting to protect our child. After Olivia's grandfather's words, I understood what the test at the dinner table was all about. Yesterday's wedding and the announcement of the William family expelling me from the family must have spread throughout the city. The phone I used to contact the William family ran out of power and shut down at some point, and I haven't turned it on yet. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Originally, I was the one who was reaching above my station. Grandpa, you guys are really naughty. What if you scare my fiancé away? How are you going to compensate me? Olivia realized that what had just happened was all an act by her family, a test. Goodness, James hasn't even proposed yet, and you're already claiming to be his fiancé? You're turning towards him way too soon. Olivia's father teased that I proposed in my own way. Anyway, James will be mine eventually. What's the difference between calling me fiancé earlier or later? She casually spread her hands. It wasn't the first time I'd heard such straightforward words, but they still made my heart race a bit. Then you two might as well get married soon. What do you think, James? Olivia's grandfather suggested with a smile. I looked around at the big shots at the table and noticed that although Olivia seemed indifferent on the surface, her hand on her lap had already grabbed the tablecloth in front of her tightly. Then, somehow, I agreed, I have no objections. I'll follow Olivia's lead. I sensed that Olivia seemed to let out a sigh of relief, and I found it a bit amusing. She was really a paper tiger. The atmosphere at the dinner table quickly warmed up with the topic of the wedding. The elders were all excitedly discussing the relevant details. I secretly took Olivia's hand that was on her lap. She looked at me in surprise and broke into a happy smile. Infected by her, I also showed the most sincere smile since yesterday. Olivia's aunt even proposed to cooperate with James Group at the end of the meal. I was a bit surprised, but not really. I have great confidence in my abilities. James Group is a new company, but it has infinite potential. The president of James Group in the public eye is my junior. His family had an accident when he graduated, and I gave him a hand. After that, he wholeheartedly followed me. As the apparent person in charge of James Group, he perfectly hid me behind the scenes. So, people in the business world know about the lone wolf, but no one has ever seen him. I made an appointment with Olivia's aunt for the time to discuss the cooperation at Olivia Group, and this family dinner ended happily. After getting the approval of the head of the Olivia family, the relationship between Olivia and me quickly progressed to the stage of discussing marriage. I became willing to live in her big villa instead of being forcefully kept by her. She seemed to think that she lost face on the first night, and these days she has been secretly provoking me in various situations, trying to get back at me. Since I discovered that she was a paper tiger, strong on the outside but weak on the inside, I was happy to see it happen. The cooperation between James Group and Olivia Group was quickly reached, causing a stir in the industry when it was announced. No one expected that a giant like Olivia Group would cooperate with a newly established small company, even if this company had made a great name in the venture capital circle in a short time. One day, Olivia, who had been tormented too much by me, finally gave in and couldn't wait to drag me out, not wanting to stay at home with me anymore. Recently, because of the wedding preparations, Olivia's uncle and aunt gave her a break, and she didn't need to go back to the company for the time being. Just as we were about to leave after chatting with her aunt in the president's office, we were stopped by someone in the reception room. James. William called out to me triumphantly. Looking at this man who had been my brother for nearly 30 years, I felt no waves in my heart. What, after being kicked out of the William family, you come to Olivia Group to look for a job? Why don't you kneel down and beg me? Maybe I'll arrange a job for you in the William Group so you won't starve to death outside. Looking at his smug look, it instead piqued my curiosity. I'm really curious. Why have you hated me so much since we were kids? You have to snatch whatever I like, and you'll do everything to slander whatever I want to do. Mom and Dad also knew it clearly, but they just pretended not to notice and always favored you. William's face turned gloomy, but he didn't tell me anything. Seeing that he didn't want to talk, I shrugged indifferently and pulled Olivia to leave. What, have you already forgotten Ava, whom you loved for so many years, and found a new love in just 1 month? William's eyes scanned over Olivia. He was a playboy in private. He just pretended well, and few people knew his true nature. I stood in front of her and said coldly, "If you still want your eyeballs, keep your disgusting eyes to yourself." My cold gaze swept over him, and William was startled, taking a small step back. Feeling that this behavior was a loss of face, his face became ferocious, looking like he wanted to eat someone. "James, what? Did I hit a nerve? Are you getting angry from embarrassment? Miss, do you know who this man beside you is? There's no good end in following him." After William said this pretending to be tough, he looked at Olivia behind me, not recognizing her as the big sister in our school back then. Since when did an outsider get to comment on a man I, Olivia, have my eyes on? Who do you think you are? Just as I was about to speak, Olivia stepped forward and taunted. "You. I've seen plenty of women like you. You're just with James for the money. He's been removed from the William family now. How long do you think the little money he has left will last?" Just as William was spouting nonsense, the special assistant of Olivia's aunt walked in. "Mr. Julian, hello. I'm the general manager of William Group. I'm here today to make an appointment with General Manager Olivia to discuss cooperation. Is General Manager Olivia available now?" I was used to seeing William change his face in an instant in front of others, so I wasn't surprised. Olivia, on the other hand, looked full of disgust. "Miss, you haven't left yet? General Manager Olivia just said that if you left early, you'd miss out. A batch of fresh king crabs arrived at the cafeteria today, and there will be an extra meal for everyone at noon. Julian was also a shrewd person. Coming to the reception room in person despite being so busy must be because a junior assistant under her knew what was going on here and ran back to tell her. I was delayed for a while. Since there's a big meal in the cafeteria, James and I will go back to find my aunt and have lunch together. What? You're the daughter of the Olivia Group? After listening for a while, William finally realized that the person he had offended with his thoughtless words was actually the young lady of the Olivia Group. "Yes, General Manager William. This is the young lady of our Olivia Group, and the gentleman beside her is our new son-in-law. After Julian introduced, we could see William breaking out in cold sweat. In addition, our General Manager Olivia said that the cooperation with William Group is off. After all, to cooperate with Olivia Group, at least someone of equal status should come. Please go back. The last sentence was a killer blow. William had always been arrogant since he was a child. Now that he had become the president of William Group at the age of 30, he was even more arrogant. Being publicly humiliated by Julian's 2 sentences, he even hated Julian. "Humph, James, you're quite something. So you had already hooked up with the daughter of the Olivia Group. No wonder you looked down on Ava and the William family. I guess you've long been ready to marry into the Olivia family. I'll tell Mom and Dad about what happened today when I get back. You just wait. After saying that, William left Olivia Group with a gloomy face, accompanied by his assistant. Olivia and I looked at each other and smiled. Neither of us took William seriously. We thanked Julian and then told her aunt what had happened just now. After that, Olivia and I left Olivia Group. There was no news about William for a few days, and I thought it was all over. One night, when Olivia and I were trying out dishes for our wedding banquet, an unexpected person suddenly called me. "James, can you come and accompany me? I miss you so much." After turning on the speakerphone and answering the call, Ava's seductive voice came from the other end. Olivia crossed her arms and looked at me with a half-smile. "Miss Ava, do I need to remind you that you're already married? Does your husband, my brother, know that you're talking to your nominal brother-in-law like this?" I was almost getting married, and under my fiancé's burning gaze, I didn't dare to say anything casually. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone, only the sound of heavy breathing could be heard. "James, I don't care. You come to me right now, or I'll kill myself." Ava hung up the phone after saying that. I looked at my fiancé blankly and said plaintively, "I haven't contacted her. I don't know what she's up to." "I didn't say I didn't believe you. I could tell from the start that Ava was not an easy person. Only you were so silly in school, being played around by her. Olivia saw my nervousness and said proactively, "Come on, I'll go with you to see how this audacious vixen tries to seduce my fiancé." When we arrived at the address Ava mentioned, it was a secluded bar with good privacy. After asking the bartender, we were led to the booth at the very back. Ava was already drunk and groggy, but still conscious. "James, you're here. I knew you still love me. You can't bear to leave me, right?" As soon as Ava saw me, she pounced on me. Caught off guard, I was hugged tightly by her. The moment I was hugged, I felt a bit nauseous. Back then, when I was chasing after her, she would even hesitate to hold hands with me. After we officially started dating, for 10 years, the most we did was just a peck on the lips. There were no further actions. "Are you so addicted to hugging? Aren't you going to let go?" Olivia's cold teasing came from beside my ear. Reacting instinctively, I pushed the person in my arms away. "Olivia, I didn't mean to." She rushed at me suddenly, and I didn't have time to react. I explained hastily. Olivia's face turned cold. She glared at me and then sat down. After being pushed away, Ava seemed to sober up a bit. She looked at me with a sad face, on the verge of crying. I felt a bit of a headache. My feelings for Ava had already dissipated on the wedding day. The woman in my heart now was Olivia. "Miss Ava, you asked me to come here so late. What exactly do you want?" I didn't want to entangle with her any longer. Cutting to the chase and then leaving with my fiancé as soon as possible was the right thing to do. "James, you're being so distant with your words. Do you really plan to abandon me?" I gave her a look that was hard to describe. How could she say such words? Wasn't it me who was abandoned? I lowered my eyes and said in a deep voice, "Wasn't it me who was played around by you and William for over a decade? Those were not my true intentions. The person I've always loved is you. I was forced to marry William. How can you not believe me? If you had told me these words before the wedding, I might have believed you. But now, I don't believe a single word you say. I even find it disgusting. I looked at Ava seriously. Don't let the kind and beautiful Ava in my memory be overshadowed by the hypocritical you now. Watching her across from me fall silent, tears streaming down her face silently. I grabbed Olivia's hand and played with it gently. Her hands were beautiful, with slender and long fingers. Her palms were not thick but very soft, and it felt comfortable to touch. I thought it would be really nice to use them to do some happy things. Just as I was daydreaming, Ava's emotions calmed down. "Is it because of her that you can forget me so quickly, James?" Looking at Olivia with jealousy in her eyes, Ava compared them secretly. The other woman was indeed more outstanding than herself, both in family background and appearance. I have to admit that if it weren't for Olivia, it would have taken me longer to regain my calm. I looked at Olivia, and a touch of love unconsciously filled my eyes. Olivia saw it and smiled happily. Ava also saw it, smiling desolately, her eyes full of jealousy. "Miss Olivia, you're a real wealthy heiress. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at by people in the circle for picking up someone else's man?" Ava stared intently at Olivia. "Can you give James back to me? I can't live without him." I looked at the woman across from me in shock. She was completely different from the innocent and gentle image in my memory. The last bit of beauty I had of her completely vanished. Humph, a married woman saying such shameless things to her brother-in-law's fiancé. Is this the family style of the Ava family? Olivia sneered. She didn't expect Ava to still have the idea of having an affair with her brother-in-law. "Olivia, let's go. There's nothing more to say. My face also turned cold. "Miss Ava, don't say such things again in the future. I, James, am not so despicable as to share a wife with my brother. Please respect yourself from now on." Ava's face was full of unwillingness. Before I led Olivia away, she shouted, "You and William are not real brothers. What's the talk of sharing a wife?" I stopped abruptly. "What did you say? What do you mean I'm not William's brother?" "Humph, you're not a child of the William family at all. You were adopted by them. They claimed you were their second-born child, so the William group would never let you inherit it. If it weren't for this, how could I have been forced to marry William on the eve of my wedding with you?" Ava laughed mockingly. "I'll look into this matter clearly. But it's over between us. Whether you were forced or it was your own idea, it doesn't matter. The situation is a foregone conclusion, and there's no possibility of change. After saying that, I didn't stay any longer and left with Olivia. That night, after learning from Ava that I wasn't a child of the William family, I started to investigate. But either the time was too long or the matter was too secret. No matter how much I searched, I found no results. The Olivia family was also investigating, but the progress was still slow. Just then, William's mother called me. "James, your grandfather's 80th birthday is on Saturday. There will be a banquet in the villa in the suburbs. Remember to get ready. Oh, and bring your fiancé, your father-in-law and mother-in-law. You'll be a family soon, and it's time for the in-laws to sit down, have a meal, and talk about your wedding. James, can you hear me?" William's mother talked on her own for a long time, but I didn't respond. I have nothing to do with the William family anymore. Even if I attend the birthday banquet, I won't go as the second son of the William family. There was a deathly silence on the other side. She probably didn't expect me to reject so firmly. After waiting for a long time without a response from the other side, I thought about it. I still had to go to the birthday banquet. Now, if I wanted to figure out my origin, I could only start from William's father and mother. Send me the invitation. I'll arrive on time on Saturday. Shortly after hanging up the phone, I received an invitation sent to my door by the driver of the William family. The invitation also included Olivia's family members. After discussing with Olivia, we decided to attend the banquet ourselves, and the elders of the Olivia family wouldn't go. After all, we already knew what the William family was like. It was better not to let them get involved with the William family. On Saturday, we arrived at the banquet venue right on time. The old master of the William family was sitting on the platform, receiving the blessings of the guests. "James is here. This must be your fiancée, Miss Olivia. Come over and wish your grandfather a happy birthday first." William's mother was sharp-eyed. When she saw me in the crowd, she immediately called out. The eyes of the people around us focused on us. The second young master of the William family, who was kicked out of the house and removed from the family tree, actually came back to attend the birthday banquet and was warmly received by William's mother. What was going on? Some sharp-eyed people recognized Olivia's identity and quietly informed those around them. The only daughter of the Olivia family, most likely to become the next head of the Olivia family. If any family son could marry her, it would be a great fortune. Even if it meant marrying into the Olivia family, sacrificing one son to connect their company with the Olivia group would be a very profitable deal. The discussions of the guests reached the ears of the William family members, faintly. Although the words were unpleasant, what they said was true. "Grandpa William, I wish you happiness as boundless as the eastern sea and a long life as the southern mountains." Hearing my address, William's father frowned. "James, what kind of address is this? Don't you even recognize your grandfather?" Then he put on a gentle face towards Olivia. "Olivia, I'm sorry you had to see this. James has been rather rebellious since he was a child. When did they arrive today? After the banquet, our two families can sit down and discuss your marriage." Looking at the hypocritical face of William's father, I couldn't help but make a comparison in my heart. The inherited hypocrisy of the three-generation William family really looked ugly. "Mr. William, we're not familiar. It's more appropriate for you to call me Miss Olivia." Olivia was always cold and domineering in front of others. "James has been removed from the William family genealogy for a month. Have you forgotten?" The smile on William's father's face froze. He didn't expect Olivia to be so disrespectful. Miss Olivia, you're joking. Even if James was removed from the family before, he's still our youngest son. That won't change. Seeing her husband in a difficult situation, William's mother had to step in to smooth things over. "Am I really your son?" I stared at William's father and mother and questioned. Looking at the stiff expressions of the couple and William's suddenly shocked expression as he had been pretending to be deaf and dumb just now. Sure enough, the three-member family, including the old man, all knew the truth. "You child, why are you so credulous? If you're not our child, then whose child could you be?" William's mother explained with an awkward smile. I didn't say anything more. I took out 2 reports from Olivia's bag. They were DNA test reports made from the biological samples of William's father, William's mother, and me. The test results show that there is no blood relationship between William's father and James, and no blood relationship between William's mother and James. We should all believe in science, right? I said coldly, looking at the William family members. The guests around were shocked and all pricked up their ears to listen carefully. Rich people also like to hear gossip. "You You unfilial son. Where did you find someone to forge this test report? Do you think that just because you've climbed up to the Olivia family, you can break away from the William family? As soon as William's father opened his mouth, he put the label of unfilial descendant on me. Olivia patted the back of my hand to comfort me. Just then, the butler of the William family rushed in to report. Master, the president of James Group has come to wish the old master a happy birthday with a birthday gift. Should we invite him in immediately? The William family members were overjoyed. They didn't expect the president of the well-known venture capital company in the industry to come to the William family to offer birthday congratulations in person. Quick, invite him in quickly. Don't neglect the honored guest. Soon, Henry walked in, holding a box in his hands, accompanied by an extraordinary-looking old man. Grandpa William, this is the birthday gift prepared by my boss. He said this is the last gift he prepared for you, and from now on, he has nothing to do with the William family. Henry's words left everyone present confused. His boss? The behind-the-scenes boss of James Group? Is it the lone wolf? Henry nodded. After presenting the gift, he stood aside and didn't speak anymore. William's father looked at William and then at Ava. The three of them were thinking about whether they knew this new investment star. Only Ava seemed to think of something and suddenly looked up at me. Then, sir, who are you? William's father thought for a long time but had no idea who the boss of James Group was. He had to put aside his doubts for the time being and turn his attention to the other unfamiliar face. I'm the butler of the William Group in the capital. I came here uninvited today to find my young master. The imposing old man introduced himself to William's father. The William Group in the capital. William's father and William's mother looked at each other, and a flash of panic crossed their faces. Young Master James, your grandfather entrusted me to bring you his will. You need to confirm it. I was shocked. Although James Group was somewhat famous in this city, compared with the William Group in the capital, it was like an ant compared to an elephant. Hearing the butler's words, William's parents and the old man looked devastated. The secret they had tried so hard to hide had been known by others for a long time. They just didn't know why it took the other party so long to come, or why they came only after they completely cut off relations with their youngest son. Boss, madam, should we leave first? The driver is waiting at the gate. It was not until Henry asked me that I came back to my senses. Everyone present was shocked and they heard his address. No one expected that the mysterious behind-the-scenes boss of James Group was actually the original youngest son of the William family. Looking back at the expressions of the William family members, they didn't know about this either. Everyone's expressions were thought-provoking. They were really short-sighted. The William family's birthday banquet was disrupted by one incident after another, and no one had the mood to continue. After I left with my people, the guests also left one after another. Only the William family members were left at the banquet venue, gathering together with gloomy faces, and no one took the initiative to speak. The butler brought the will and the truth about my life experience. Through his narration, I learned the truth about being abducted. Only I was expressionless, out of place with the scene. My mother was somewhat infatuated with love back then. She was deceived by a playboy from the local William family with sweet words. After giving birth to me out of wedlock, she lost the child. My grandfather searched for many years and finally found out that I was taken back to the local William family by my biological father right after I was born. He wanted to use the child to force my grandfather to agree to his marriage with my mother. Unexpectedly, my biological mother was unlucky. She was killed in a car accident caused by a collateral branch member while going out to look for me. My biological father was also beaten to death during a fight at a gathering. The William family members didn't know the plan of their youngest son. They originally planned to extort a large sum of money from my grandfather when he came to pick me up. But they waited for nearly 30 years, until the day of William's wedding. The William family thought I was worthless and worried that if I stayed at home, I would compete for power with my brother. So they simply kicked me out of the house. Young master, before he died, the old master said that the William Group had been emptied by those people over the years. Even if it was left for you to inherit, it would only be a trouble. You've been living away from home since you were a child, but you're a capable person. You can achieve great things on your own. So he decided to leave the William family's old mansion and most of the real estate to you. As for the matters of the group, you'd better not get involved. The matter of inheriting the estate took more than half a month. During this period, Olivia accompanied me all the time. The arrangements for the wedding were left to the elders of the Olivia family. It should have been me who gave her a grand wedding, but it was delayed due to various trivial matters. Even though Olivia said she didn't care, I still felt a bit guilty. A month later, Olivia and I got married as scheduled. This grand-scale wedding was held with the blessings of many big shots, and we became husband and wife. In just 3 months, I transformed from the abandoned son of the William family whose bride was snatched to a new investment star and the son-in-law of the Olivia family, achieving a perfect counter-attack. I heard that on the wedding day, William and Ava had a big fight. He accidentally pushed her down, and the unborn child in her belly was lost on the spot. I didn't care about things that had nothing to do with me and just laughed it off. Now, for the rest of my life, I only want to dote on the woman by my side.